मौका कहाँ मिलेगा? My English not very good.
Thank you, and same to you.
ऐसा मौका कहाँ मिलेगा?
Yes.
यहाँ मिले.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. So apt for IT Niketan. Truly, as designers, developers, testers, what have you, we don't get the opportunity, to kind of meet on a platform such as this. It only happens once a year, and that's God-given, because otherwise I wouldn't be knowing many of you. And so many friends I've made after last year, and many of them who are represented here. But so ऐसा मौका और कहाँ मिलेगा? And for my brother Yusuf Pathan, it's इतना मौका और कहाँ मिलेगा? I just have to say that. I hope he heard it when he's right now at Eden. I hope he heard it and he does something special today. So anyways, I have a small little tip that I'd like to play for all of you. And basically I'm going to be talking about inspiration. And what I have for you is basically what the gentleman who's going to be speaking has inspired me. And so I'm not going to talk about, hardcore developing testing. Of course, I don't know anything about that, but design. But listen to this guy, and he's inspired me, and then I'll show you a piece of mine, and then I'll talk a little bit about inspiration and how we as designers can get inspiration. And not only as designers, but anyone. You can be of any field. So before I do that, do I have any graphic designers here today? So I feel a little at home. No graphic designers. One. ऐसा मौका और कहाँ मिलेगा? Come on, two.
I have interest in graphic design.
Interest? You have used Photoshop?
Yes.
Photoshop, everyone, web design, you have used? Okay, let's just have a look at this clip. Okay? I'll be back.
I like to create this image that measures 5 feet high by 25 feet wide. A total of over 5,000 images with a cumulative total of over 500,000 layers. Utilizing every feature of Photoshop. In fact, 4 different versions of Photoshop. We went through the alpha and beta stages of 2 of the different versions. During the process, I learned a lot of techniques. Now, people ask me, why don't you just take a photograph? Why spend all that time to create this thing? Well, for one thing, I'm not a photographer. And secondly, it's not the image itself that's important to me. It's not the destination, it's the journey. It's the challenge of creating this piece, of how to make that glass look like glass, how to make that metal look like metal, how to make that asphalt look like asphalt. That's the challenge. Having a picture of it, okay, so it's done. But how do I create that? That's what motivates me to create my pieces. In that process, I learned all these techniques which I pass on to you. Now, it's that challenge that's so important to me. That's what you see in all my different paintings. It's the challenge that I was faced with at the time. Every single element to be able to create from scratch, using only the tools in Photoshop. All the people here are all friends and family. My son, my daughter, my wife, myself, they're all friends and family throughout this whole thing. But I've captured everybody's soul as best I could by having them pose in certain situations and putting them in certain situations that tells a story. The story may be personal to me, but it tells a story and it gives life to the scene, rather than just people standing there or people who are faceless and meaningless. No, all these people mean something. All the steps that I went through in this, all that learning process, it's important for me. For the program, go in there and find all the little details, because Photoshop has so many tools, so many filters, so many things that are available to you. And why are they there? They're not there just to fill up space. So most people only use a small fraction of what Photoshop has to offer. But there is a lot there. What I'm hoping to inspire with this piece is that you're going to go in there and look at all those tools. Push that button and see what it does. If faced with a dialog box, enter 5, 10, -50, whatever, and see what it does. You'd be surprised at some of those happy accidents that have come through from that. And it allows you to get creative. This wasn't work, this is playing. And you should look at your work the same way. Look at it as play. If you look at it as play, then you'll wake up in the morning